Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. It is January the 22nd, and we're looking at Exodus and chapter 4. In Exodus chapter 4, we see that before Moses can go to meet Pharaoh, he needed to be especially endowed with power from on high. Then we see Moses going back to Egypt and having the first encounter with Pharaoh, that is the new Pharaoh. Moses raises an important and crucial point with the Lord regarding his mission. This is something that every messenger of God faces. He says, "They will not believe me or listen to my voice. They will say, 'The Lord has not appeared unto you.'" So the Lord gave Moses a number of signs. First has to do with his staff. God told him to throw it on the ground, and it became a hissing snake. Moses went to run away, but the Lord said, "Pick it up by the tail." And when he did, it became a staff again. Then the Lord said, "Put your hand in your cloak." And when he did, it became leprous. These two signs will be enough to show that the Lord was with him. The first sign has to do with God and Satan. The second has to do with cursings and blessings. And the third was to do with irreversible judgment. Then Moses says, "I am slow of speech. I do not have the gifts of an orator." The Lord replied, "Who made your mouth? And who made the dumb? Who made the seeing and the blind? I will be your mouth, and I will teach you what to say." Moses was still reluctant, so the Lord was angry. He said, "I will send Aaron to be your spokesman. He is coming to meet you right now." So Moses returns to Egypt. The Lord will confirm his word with two witnesses. Moses went to tell Jethro, his father-in-law, that he was going back to Egypt. The Lord assured Moses that all the men who sought after him because of the death of the Egyptian were now dead. The next thing that the Lord says is that he was not going to be immediately successful. Pharaoh was not going to listen to him. In fact, God was going to harden his heart deliberately so that he would be able to display his power to the Egyptians. The message that Moses took was very simple. The Lord said, "Israel is my firstborn. You must let my son go, that he might go 3 days into the wilderness to worship me. However, if you do not let him go, then I will kill your son, your firstborn." On the way to Egypt, the Lord met Moses and went about to kill him, but his wife Zipporah circumcised her son and turned away the judgment of God. The Lord sent Aaron to meet Moses, and he kissed him and told him everything that God had said to him. When they arrived in Egypt, Moses and Aaron gathered all the elders of Egypt, that is, all the elders of the children of Israel, and they told them everything that the Lord had said, and they showed the signs from God. Whenever God speaks to Israel, he gives signs. The people believed and they worshipped the Lord. Next, Moses and Aaron had to face Pharaoh. They delivered the message, but Pharaoh said, "Who is God that I should obey him?" Well, he soon found out. Pharaoh immediately made the taskmasters work the Israelites harder than ever. They had to make bricks without straw. The elders of Israel complained to Moses because things had got worse instead of better, and Moses took the complaint to the Lord. Now, there's a great deal in a passage like this. The 3 signs of Moses are quite outstanding. These are the signs. The first has to do with the rod of God. The second has to do with his hand, which became leprous and then was cured again. And the third has to do with the judgment of God. That is, he took some water from the river and poured it out onto the dry ground, and it became blood. And these three signs convinced the children of Israel that God had sent Moses. It's very interesting that, just as a by the way, that Jethro was the priest of Midian. Now, Midian is the other side of the Red Sea. It's the place where the Sinai was, where Horeb was. It's the place where Moses met God at the burning bush. And in Midian, they had a priest. The Gentiles had a priest, the priest of Midian, and that was Jethro. He wasn't a Levitical priest. He was the priest of Midian. And take a look at verse 24. It came to pass by the way in the inn that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. So in these days, in those days there were inns, and inns were not like a tavern of today. They were usually a large enclosure, usually walled around. It was designed to keep the flocks safe during the night from wolves, and it was designed to keep travelers safe from bandits. And Moses had gone into the inn, and there in the inn the Lord met him and sought to kill him, and Zipporah had to circumcise her son to avert the judgment of God. It's very interesting that the signs that the Lord gave to Moses were believed by the children of Israel. But the message to Pharaoh had an opposite effect. It did not bring about the deliverance of the children of Israel. In fact, the taskmasters made the life of the children of Israel harder by refusing to give them straw, but they still had to deliver their daily toll of bricks. So it's a fascinating passage, isn't it? And my password is in verse 31. The people believed when they heard that the Lord had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, when they bowed their heads and worshipped. There we are. That's my thought for the day. I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. God bless you all. Bye for now.